apartments, that would be something that would go into that.
So what he's adding on the last sentence is at a maximum of 2 stories?
If that's okay with the rest of the committee, I mean, we're arbitrarily doing this.
For this
It's up
side,
to the
because-
committee.
well, again, we're showing the committee, in my opinion, we're showing that we are limiting those types of structures to those zones that we talked about.
Right, because this is a multifamily
This is
zoning that
still
can happen
multifamily.
outside, yes.
Correct, this can happen in any subdivision
Correct.
that's developed or any other piece of property. That, well, we're
Correct.
registering all those other properties around the village, each one will do that. Okay, that's just my thought. Do you have to have a motion to do that, put that in there?
No, I mean, you can do them as individuals, or we can edit it and you can approve it as presented and amended.
Okay. Well,
I think that's good language there.
put it in
So you want to make a motion on that there?
Right. Well, I'll make the motion
Let's do
that, that language is presented.
For the medium density?
Right.
As amended.
What's
As
R10 now? I'm sorry, Fred, I'm just trying to understand where, you said the Chapman Farm, so obviously it's,
As far as where it is,
you know,
it's Fairwinds Boulevard East. It's pretty much, if you were to shoot that line,
Okay, it's not.
pretty, it's not
12
exact
acres,
acres,
is it 12 acres?
as far as land,
16 acres? It's not,
it's
not a
around
large chunk
10
of property.
to
Correct.
15 or something, I think.
Correct.
and the current,
Well, yeah, 12 acres, you're right, Fred.
Well,
Minus the village-owned property.
I'm not just saying shall, I'm saying what's R10 in the village now?
It's 8,
8.
Okay, it's 8, which
Yeah.
is in the 2035 plan, correct?
correct.
Right.
That's 10.
No, it's 8. In
No,
the
it's
comprehensive
8.
plan, it says approximately 8 units per acre.
10.
Really?
Yeah, remember,
In our comp
the
plan?
current comp plan.
Oh, yes, okay, sorry, yep, you're correct.
so we're not changing it.
The
No.
2035 plan, so
But
you're
you're
not changing
amending
anything.
it to
We're not
include,
changing anything.
but you have amended it to include the 2-story and the
Yes.
2-story.
Doesn't the current comp plan say up to 10, but why does your ordinance say 8? I guess, I thought it said something in the comp plan about 8 and then up to 10. It's like in the weeds somewhere.
Which had to be answered. I have no idea why our R5 is at 4.8 either.
Yes.
Is there any other
Yeah,
R10 in the
okay.
village?
Yes.
Okay.
Is there a lot of it?
Yeah, I'm just
Depends on your
asking.
definition of a lot.
I'm just curious what
There's
the R10s are.
Parcel on Honeywell, just south, west of the tracks, north of Quantico Baptist Church.
Okay.
That's zone R10. About 40 acres. Pardon? 60 acres. About a third of which is wetland.
I would venture to guess we have less than 100 total acres of undeveloped R10 property currently in the village. And you'll get a much better look as we go through the quadrants, you'll see all of it. It's mostly the Chapman property and this piece out on Honeywell.
So not changing anything, we added 2 stories and those are the R10s that you know of. Thanks.
I guess I would make my last petition, I promise. We would change the 10 to 8 in protection of the transitional zones and maintain that standard as a consistency with the ordinance that exists. And then I'll be quiet and I'll say yes all night and we can go home.
Speak your mind. Speak your mind.
I just have to ask the question then, what's the difference between 8 and 10? I mean, in reality, what's the fear? Why?
It's 20 units on 10 acres, I don't know, it's 36 cars.
Just try to,
I wish I could tell you that there was some deep study why it's 8 right now, but being an observer to the committee that was put together that changed it in the early 2000s, and that committee dealt with, created new zoning for the Walmart, Home Depot, Pro Health, that whole area, added a few more manufacturing industrial districts. The developer of Legend Meadows was a influential member of that committee, and that's 8 units per acre.
He said so, that's what happened.
Essentially, that's it. It was, because right there, then the village hadn't had a rental proposal for so many years, and it wasn't a need that was at the forefront of everybody's mind at that time. So that's essentially how it was. The 4.6 for the R3, or the transitional, and we're now calling it low density in the next item, that was, I did come up with that convoluted formula of how it came out to be 4.6, and for the life of me, I can't remember how I came to that, but it's been a while. I remember a lot of things, but I don't remember that. But that will blame me for that weird number.
Probably a compromise, you're probably trying to work out some
Well,
kind of.
we said, if I recall earlier, that it was difficult, and it was calculus versus, some other form of math earlier. Now we're talking about a different area that's strictly multifamily, it's not mixed use, it's not business mixed use.
Correct.
This is R10.
Correct.
Honeywell and Fair Winds are two completely different areas in terms of what's there. Honeywell, you guys, I think, said that you'd have difficulty right now, there's not services going out to Honeywell right now, correct?
Correct.
That was said earlier. You know what you have with this. And I think Fair Winds in general, the group did a lot of density studies in terms of other communities. So do we agree with their analysis of?
We don't. Whether you guys do, that's for the
Okay,
committee.
but I'm saying, do we agree that from the different communities, they did a study of this density, this. What's compared to that, type of thing? So you don't agree, you would like
And as
to.
Bruce showed you, we're using the numbers from Delafield and other communities that are in the teens, and you saw their middle range was in the 8 to 12 range for their
We
middle
had
density.
6s and 7s in there too.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Okay,
It's just right, yeah.
trying to get a handle on it, you said Ashland Village is 60. You said Ashland Village is 16.
Correct.
But Ashland Village is located, as Joe said, in an area, I don't know that bothers people. I mean, we know the average rents in those areas are $750 to $780. It's 2 bedrooms, they're 900 square foot apartment units, that's what Ashland Village is.
Wouldn't it be better to work with people like the Chapmans though to reduce or change their zoning to R5 instead of to mess with the overall mechanics that guide multifamily across the village? I mean, if we're talking about specific locations that may be different, wouldn't it be worth the committee's time when you're going around the different areas of the village to say, well, maybe R10 just doesn't fit and maybe it should be R5?
Yeah, I don't.
I'm just asking.
I don't know what the options are here, John. I don't know if we make a decision on this versus 10 or 8, what's the difference? And you're saying parking, it's a transition area to an existing residential area.
Sure.
And whatever you have planned for the rest of the property, again, moving parts, they don't quite have a handle on that. Does 8 or 10 matter in terms of R10? Is it?
It was a nice splitting the difference between 5 and 15.
Okay.
so we're just gonna deal with the middle number? Call that good? It doesn't seem like,
I don't think it's any more or less arbitrary than 8.
I don't know.
So
I've seen a lot of 8, that's all I can say. And I've seen other communities that have a break. And we just seem to be grabbing on this stuff. And I haven't seen one thing moderate on what we've done tonight. We got 2.5% or 2.5 times increase on dwelling units and stuff in some capacities. It just seems like we've got a lot. We've got a lot to play with. Leave the residents alone.
John, when we get to, we talk about the north and northeast part of the village, we talk about the Chapman Farm in particular, can we does this committee have the right to take an existing R10 and say that should be R5?
Well, I think that's a conversation you have to have with the property owners and their representatives who will certainly be at the meeting.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have a right to
Yeah, absolutely.
put the land use category, yeah.
And then if they feel differently about it, there is, of course, a method by which they can petition the governing body for consideration of rezoning. And I mean, you guys, through the land use map, could make it R5, and they can show up as soon as the comprehensive plan is approved and say we'd like to apply for the R10 zoning, as is any property owner's right. So I prefer it was more of a dialogue, and the agent representing the family and the family themselves know that this meeting is coming up, and they plan on having at least their representatives speak on their behalf.
But yes, I mean, we're talking basically we're talking generalities here. Still up to committee to assign these land use districts to properties. We don't have to follow the current pattern that the 2009 plan followed. You can make changes. Either OA, but you can make it less dense as well.
And you
I
can use it
guess,
as a
I guess
buffer.
the argument I would make for this, this is for the entire village. We're saying the R10 in relation to Fairwinds, but that's not, this is for everything.
Sure.
And if they want to come back, this is throughout the village, so it's not, if you want to come back with the map where we change it to R5, where we get the land where we change it to R5, that's the option.
Right.
But I think what this is, there's not like a paragraph here that says, except for the area where the Chapman farm is. That's not what we're trying to do here. We're trying to do this, the whole plan is for the entire village, not just one spot. And I think that if you say that the option that we have is to go to R5 to make it different, then that's
Or buffering,
that's
you
the
don't have to do the
option.
whole thing either, you can just
Well,
do.
then that would be the option. I'd like everybody to remember, this is for the entire village, not for just that particular area.
So I'm not hearing a lot of push to change the number from 10. Am I hearing that wrong?
I just want to make sure everybody understands that it's not, this is different than what we did earlier. This is for the entire community.
Right.
So everybody's clear on
Did
that.
it say Chapman that was brought to the table, and I understand that goes across the village. That's not why I'm saying this specifically. So, just as a clarification, I'm not speaking in my own self-interest.
And the change in this from previous discussions with what was proposed in Fountain Springs that was 3 stories, that was,
3 stories at 19, about 19 and a half units per acre at their last presentation. I mean, it started out in the mid-20s.
Yeah, that's a later discussion, because the whole north side of town, Highway 3, but that's, okay, understood.
Okay, any more discussion here? Anybody like to make a motion here regarding the medium density multifamily?
I guess I'll speak up. I'll make a motion to approve medium density at, as it's written, with 10 dwelling units per acre.
And as amended,
As
to include the
amended.
maximum.
Has been, yes. Thank you. Which was 2 stories.
Correct.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion there?
It's between 5 and 10.
Correct.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. Nope. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, last up here. Low density multifamily. Where land in the village or plan to be in the village with good access to utilities and arterial streets can serve as transitional land between land uses of varying intensities, serving the purpose of providing an alternative quality housing choice from traditional single-family detached housing. 2-family detached dwelling duplexes, either on individual lots or a unified complex, or 1 multi-family building or a unified complex of multi-family buildings, 3 or more dwellings per building, should be allowed in low-density multifamily at a density of no more than 5 dwelling units per acre. Housing dedicated to senior citizens may exceed 5 dwelling units per acre, up to 20 dwelling units per acre.
That last line is simply a carryover of the previous definition we have in the comprehensive plan.
And the current R3 zoning district.
Would it make sense that we want to allow duplexes either on single lots or among the complex of duplexes, and then multifamily, similar to the Glen, could be townhomes, could be 3 units building, 4 units building, up to 5. The gist of this district. Also would be used as a transition between medium density and single family.
Why would you include senior housing in this category?
Yeah, I've vacillated back and forth between adding this to the previous category medium or this one. The thought was that, I didn't want to create any more, again, medium density or higher density areas by dedicating land that we thought might be, go for senior housing. Because we can't dictate where, if we put, say for example, we had senior housing in the medium density range. We thought that might be a good senior housing site, but, and so we put a medium density, but the property owner doesn't sell it for senior housing, it sells it for a regular multifamily use, then we'd be up, we'd be having a 10-unit per acre development. So that's why I just put it in the low density as following what the current, or what has been practiced, let me put it this way, what has been practiced in the past of how these categories have fit in with senior housing.
The short answer, it's
Yeah.
easy to get behind, right? And senior housing is something that the village board has been pursuing for many, many years. It's still a priority for them. It's a priority for our community. So for that reason, we opened up the flexibility to allow it to be placed.
Yeah, I'm not, obviously not disagreeing
Yeah.
with senior housing. You know, you're saying what's done in the past, and then part of this thing was kind of looking in the future. And senior housing, I'm going to defer to pro health over here too. Senior housing, it should be close to services. I mean, obviously, applying to not urban areas.
Sure, ideally, because we have a lack of transportation.
Yeah, I just, you kind of, it seems to me like you've got a mix of use, and you're the planner, so I don't know. Why you mix those two categories? Is there a separate category for senior housing, or is there?
There typically is a separate category for senior. There sometimes can be a category.
I would shy away from that, a separate category, because again, then we pigeonhole a piece of property or a property owner into a specific use that the marketplace, we might think it might work there, but the marketplace might not agree with that. An example I use is we don't plan for locations of churches. And we don't plan where